February 19th conclave, and the answer is none. That's right, isn't it? There wasn't anything humorous on that, was there? Here we are, straight up, un punto. Let me get you one of, you know, sometimes these prayers, oral prayers, are pretty good. And it's kind of too bad to let them go by unrecorded. So sometimes I write them down. Let's pick one at random. This is the one for March the 10th, 2004, Wednesday, Anno Domini. There is no fear. There are no troubles. There is no need to hide. There is no need to seek refuge. We are it. Everything is fine, and we are perfect. Isn't that nice? Glendora had the new lawsuit will not be filed in the Rye Court. I bet the Rye Court is relieved of that. Secret. Guess where it's going to be filed? See if you can guess. This court has been taxed enough, the Rye Court. If the defendant's memorandum of law arrives today, it is too late. Reserved. Dated St. Patrick's Eve, etc. I've already read that to you. And here is a cat, richly endowed. Isn't she beautiful? Everybody likes you, but they don't know what a little mischievous little cat that you are. Yeah, but everybody thinks you're beautiful. Look at her hands, they're like shovels. What? Why don't you stay out on the sun porch? Why do you have to be in here with me all the time? She chases across the road kitty. Across the road kitty's huge. Here's a footnote. This court should see the videotape. Oh yeah, I'm going to show you this. Just submitted to Glendora of nearly 100 public access producers who spent all night in the February snow outside of Cablevision to protect their Cablevision time slots, to which they already have a statutory right, a statutory guarantee. Watch a chat with Glendora every Monday in Rye, all day long. And I think that's it. Are you glad? So and this is how I closed it. Rye, sesame rye, old grain crisp bread. And I told him this joke. The rye grand dame, you know, Rye, city of Rye is noted for that. You know, the lorgnette type, the raised eyebrow type. Okay. The rye grand dame said to the recent college graduate, "What did you major in?" And said he, "Communications, elocution, diction, public speaking, and advanced oratory." And the Rye grand dame said, "Really?" And he said, "Yep." So we'll send this with Bob Hope. And then that reminds me that we haven't had jokes for a long, long time, and we cannot let things get too serious. reminds me that we haven't had jokes for a long, long time, and we cannot let things get too serious. The golfer said to his partner, when I make a shot like that, I could jump into that pond over there and drown myself. And his partner says, not you! You couldn't keep your head down long enough. What's the difference between a teacher and a train? A train says choo choo, and a teacher says don't chew. And Harry used to watch golf on TV, and his doctor says you need more exercise. So now he watches tennis. And the golfer topped the ball, sliced it, put it in a sand trap, and walloped across the road into the deep woods. And then he starts going after the ball. And his partner says, don't do that. And he says, I got to. That's my lucky ball. And the judge is out on the golf course. And he says, caddy, why do you keep looking at your watch? And the caddy says, oh no sir, this isn't a watch, it's a compass. And Harry had a terrible day on the golf course. He takes his golf clubs and he throws them into the pond. And he takes his golf balls and he throws those into the pond. And he takes his golf bag and he throws that into the pond. And he goes up to the clubhouse, he slits his wrists, he's standing there bleeding to death, and his pal Mike comes in and says, hi Harry, how about a game of golf tomorrow? And Harry says, what time? Now you housewives, if you go to Walmart and the grocery cart you get, all of the wheels are going in the same direction, you know it's going to be a good day. $31 million Americans, according to the latest statistics by the Department of Labor, are idle. They work for the courts. And grandchildren. I always wonder, why do they call them grandchildren? I finally found out. It's grand to see them come, and it's grand to see them leave. Do I have anything else to tell you? No, I think we're all up to date. And again, I thank God for Zabby. She's phenomenal. She's a great creation. Okay. St. Patrick's Day Eve in the year 2004. We're having snow number 18, folks, the day before St. Patrick's Day. I remember back in the 1950s or 60s, it snowed terribly on St. Patrick's Day. The United States Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia sent us this letter. I don't think it's worth turning on the lights for. They said that your petition for review in Judicial Council complaint number 0316 was filed on March the 1st, 2004. Mark J. Langer, clerk, and Glendora has to be polite, right? And she has to say thank you. Thank you. And then this is the kind of envelope they sent it in. Look, it's a half of a 9 by 12 envelope. And so I asked them, don't you have any number 10 envelopes? I can send you some if you would like. And then I looked up Rye, W-R-Y. I keep talking about the Rye Court, the Rye City Court. So I looked it up in the dictionary. And look what it says, rye is twisted. Let's see if I can read it over here. Rye. Contorted, made by twisting the features out of shape, as a wry face or smile, marked by perversity or contrariness, wrong-headed, as wry notions, distorted, warped. Well, I think you could apply all that to a court, except Peter Lane is such a friendly and congenial person and so amiable and affable. And then there's also a Rye Neck. That's funny, because there is a place called Rye Neck. Okay, that's what's going on. There's five legal papers that came in the in-mail, and there's 4 left. And over here I'm working on Omnibus 21, which is suing a whole lot of other bad judges. And then I'm also working on the new Dolan Cablevision lawsuit. And we're having the number 18th storm. Can you see it? If you look closely, you can see it coming down. Can you see it snowing? Yeah, I think you can. Yeah, but I must go to the post office. I'll have to walk. It's not fit for a car. I'll have to walk because that motion for default judgment to the Rye City Court, WRY, has to be served. Isn't that an ugly face? Folks, I sent Thomas DeLuca $150 for copy cartridges, to refill copy cartridges. It cost $350 for 4 copy cartridges to be filled again with toner. And I had to pay him in pieces because, you know, when your partner dies, you lose about $500 a month, or at least we did. Social Security, so you have to live differently. And then BCAT, Brooklyn Cable Access Television, insists on Jackie Rickman sending BCAT a copy of her license. Well, you know what they're saying to Jackie Rickman when she signed that application, which she really didn't have to do. It's not required. There's no legal basis for it. But they're saying to Jackie Rickman, I don't believe you. I think you lied when you made out that paper and said your address was so-and-so. You lied, so you send us proof. That's what they're saying to her. So I say to you, BCAT, Brooklyn, Public Access, go down to Jackie's address at 295 Ocean Parkway and ring the doorbell and see if she comes to the door. That's what the U.S. probation officers do to verify address. So you do the same. And then I said to Jackie, invite him in for lunch. And Jackie says, anytime. Cat. We have one snowcat. That's Christina Odell. And you can see that number 18 was quite a storm. Snowstorm number 18 of the year, season 2003-2004. I forgot to show this to you before I put it away. But the work on the new Dolan Cablevision lawsuit is speeding along. Amen. Full power. And the complaint is maybe 3/4 written. So, I should have shown it to you, but of course when it's ready to serve, I'll read it to you. So let's go put on the boots and let's start to shovel. Let's do some chores. But let's rejoice. It's a new day, and yesterday was such a good day. Actually, it was perfect. So we rejoice. Hello. That's the wrong graphic. But this is the right video. Isn't that some picture? This tank cost $500 this year. And Natalia should have told us and explained to us that she had in mind for us paying it. We had in mind for her paying it, and we would not have lived here had we known. You think this is winter's last hurrah? I bought the squirrels a whole bag of peanuts, and I think they, or the birds, long-tailed birds, ate every one of them. So we'll try these no-good Price Chopper brown and serve rolls, absolutely without any flavor at all. Price Chopper private label I have found to be no good. So, next job is to get the snow off the 1993 Lincoln. Someday, maybe when Dolan Cablevision stops harassing us, we'll get time to work on the poor 1980 Lincoln. You see, we have recycle. You see that, Mark Zier? We have recycle. You see that? Steve Mitzman and Bully Mark, we have recycle. And rubbish pickup. Take good care of the camera. Okay, Charlotte? You want your blanket on? Want your light on? Let's go shovel the snow, Christina. Come on, honey. Let's go shovel the snow. Come on. Come on, honey. Let's go. Glendora thinks that she is wrong. So here's a big 9x12 envelope. And it says, we weary God with our words. The most recent, so we weary God with our words, and the most recent contention of words is about a judgment. A case is not closed until a judgment is received. Glendora has never received a judgment. The case is not closed. Until it is closed, Glendora's papers must be filed. This is the law of Federal Rules of Civil Procedure, Rules 77, 78, and 79. Clerk has to file papers. This court's attempts at censorship and editorial control are heinous, and those responsible for same are being sued. Tampering with the record is criminal code. 18 U.S. Code, Section 1515. It is 18 U.S. Code, Section 1001, and hence 18 U.S. Code, Section 1941, RICO, Racketeer Influence Crime Organization. Please do what is right. A court that cannot intercept an address change after 6 notices and that cannot get a plaintiff's name right after 2 years cannot be expected to know closing a case and about a judgment. Your closing the case was an abominable wreck of due process. You did it summarily and surreptitiously. If you had used the correct address instead of delaying the mailings 10 days forwarding, Glendora would have had time to reply. Glendora has got justice in this case. Oneida Coward Mayor, Brooklyn Community Access TV BCAT, exited September 2003, along with Domingo Martin. And a chat with Glendora is on Brooklyn Community Access Television every week. Good always wins in the end, but not in the broken down, dysfunctional courts. Yours in truth and in amor patriae, Glendora. Complaint to Congress. And without prejudice, Uniform Commercial Code. Glendora, and it's written on March the 17th, St. Patrick's Day. Who are the defendants in this case? You got to give Almond credit for that she doesn't do a lazy caption. She lists all parties. The defendants are Brooklyn Community Access Television and the Board of Directors, Oneida Coward Mayors, Domingo Martin, Nicole A. Gordine, long gone, Diane Bennett, everything's okay there, Caitlin Gonzer, long gone, Cablevision, Charles F. Dolan, about to go, James L. Dolan, Cablevision Systems Corporation, Mac Budill, Thomas Garger, Charles A. Former, Maurice Cunningham, Robert M. Callaghy, Sadly Stevens, Burke and Burke, Maureen Olhomer, Chad Hume. Maureen Olhomer is gone. That's not her name anyway, I don't think. And Chad Hume, Thomas Isabella, and Stephen Shea, all good-for-nothings at the New York State Public Parasites Commission, John Figliosi and the Public Service Commission of the State of New York. So you see, justice wins in the
Computers are in the Bible. Eve said to Adam, "Do you want an apple coupe?" How you make me cry. Okay, sweetie, I'll call you again as soon as I can. And I'll get wait a minute, I gotta learn this first. Our computers in the Bible. Eve said to Adam, "Do you want an apple coupe?" You not gotta write it down. I gotta write it down. I love it. Oh, I love you. Thank you for calling me and always make my night. All right, call me when you get that number. Yes, indeed, Frank Tobin. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Folks, let's go all over the United States of America. And where is this legal paper going? This legal paper just completed. Where is it going? Pick it. Pick one state. They all should be picketed. Okay, how about this one right here? See what they did. Folks, what do you do with people in the court who are so stupid and who lie so and who cheat? Here you see a complaint. This complaint, it filed in the United States District Court, Eastern District of Wisconsin, 7th Circuit. Is that plain enough? One group of defendants are Thomas Lee, the Chief Judge, and J.T. Noblin, the Chief Clerk of the United States District Court, Jackson, Mississippi. Okay? So, you send them this complaint. All right? They write back the first time. And they say, your complaint was not filed and is being returned. Your document is a copy. Copies are not filed, and you are failed to submit a completed and signed request to proceed in form of papyrus. Did I file that complaint in their court, folks? Can't they read? Sure they can read. They're just lying and cheating. So, I get out this letter, which I've read to you before, on a 9x12 envelope, so everybody can read it on the postal trail from New York State to Mississippi. And I tell them that they are being fugitives and they are cheating. And they're also in default, and default judgment's going to be taken against them. Okay? What did they do with this letter? They send it back to me. Here's the envelope. See? They're trying to get rid of their dirty record. Get it out of the court so nobody will see it. Okay? And this time, their letter says, oh, and notice these dumb people. Do they sign the letter? You see a signature there? Anywhere? No. Okay. Come back to their second letter. The memorandum is acknowledge receipt of your complaint. However, your complaint was not filed and being returned. You failed to submit the filing fee of $150 or to submit a completed and signed motion to proceed in form of papyrus. I'm enclosing a motion for you to complete and sign. See, they changed the tune. You can resubmit it, your complaint, along with the filing fee or the completed and signed motion to proceed in form of papyrus. Do you see any signature, folks? You know, these people work for a court, and they send out unsigned papers. That's a sanction. They can be sanctioned for that. Okay, so what are we going to do with them this time? Well, I'll tell you. How's this? In great, great big letters. Complaint to Congress about Tom S. Lee, Chief Judge, and J.T. Noblin, Chief Clerk, United States District Court, Jackson, Mississippi. They have been sued, and they are running like fugitives. They make believe that the complaint Glendora filed against them was filed in the United States District Court, Milwaukee. They make believe that the complaint is filed in their court. They are lying and cheating. Criminal Code 18 U.S. Code, Section 1001. Glendora invokes RICO, Racketeer, Influence, Crime Organization, Criminal Code 18 U.S. Code 1941. They are illiterate. The complaint says, in big letters, U.S. District Court, Milwaukee, not U.S. District Court, Jackson. These people must be impeached, fired, and jailed. Fined and jailed. Americanism is loyalty to and attachment to the United States, its traditions, interests, and ideals. They funk. Lee and Noblin have committed this fraud twice. Glendora is sending the complaint back to them again. Anyhow, they are in default, and judgment will be taken against them. And look, I put their two letters together. See, that one dated that one, and this one dated this one. Okay? Okay. Now, to whom is this going? All right, this is going to Senator Hatch, Senate Judiciary Committee, House Judiciary Committee, George Bush, Administrator, U.S. Courts, Leonidas Ralph Meekum, a joke, to George McDermott, to Zabi, to the Center for Judicial Accountability, Incorporated, and to you, the Glendora TV audience. Look at this. This is Penny's house. Penny's the one on the left. And Chase is the newcomer who won't go home, who likes this place better than any other place. And here Penny is, after all these months, kissing Chase. Isn't that cute? And it was these other cats who made Penny so nervous and made her scratch and itch and put big scabs on her skin. And the bandages are there to keep Penny from digging holes into her skin and making scabs. And here they are, head to head. And yesterday Penny even washed Chase 4 or 5 licks. Isn't that sweet? Oh, isn't that cute? And Chase wants some more. Oh, that's so cute. Penny was just about to kiss him. Chase is sort of slow, you know. He was scared to death, and he's just coming around. And he likes being a people cat. They were eating together, the 3 of them. Peace. No fighting over food. Peace. Penny's bandaged for the day to keep herself from digging her skin, her epithelium. Here. Our Daily Bread is the name of a restaurant up here. Good vegetarian restaurant. And you sing a hymn and you say a prayer. And it really gets you up there, folks, and I want you up there too. You can make it. This is squirrel watching time. I gotta get another bag of peanuts for the squirrels. The birds like them as much as the squirrels. Let's see if we can watch the squirrels. I don't see a squirrel. No. I see 2 snowstorms out there, number 18 and number 19. In half an hour, son. Come on, you can do it. Go away, clouds. We've had enough precipitation. We need sunshine. We need 50 degrees until spring, which is Saturday. This is Thursday. let's put this hymn up on the clipboard. And let's sing it together. 1, 2. Okay, we'll put it on TV. Okay, can you sing it with me now? I need you to help me sing because I don't sing very well. I don't have to sing well. I'm a Methodist. All that matters is the spirit and the heart. Okay, let's go. Jesus calls us o'er the tumult of our lives while restless see. Day by day his sweet voice soundeth, saying, Christian, follow me. Jesus calls us o'er the tumult of our lives while restless see. Day by day his sweet voice soundeth, saying, Christian, follow me. Jesus calls us o'er the tumult of our lives while restless see. Day by day his sweet voice soundeth, saying, Christian, follow me. Good morning, folks. We are going to meet again with an American hero that we had a meeting with back in the year 2003. And I think the thing to do is just to read his letter as he sent it to the chat with Glendora. He writes, and Glendora receives on the 13th of March, and Memo endorses it on the 18th of March, and it's Ethan Book Jr. You remember him? Well, he's a great American patriot. And he says, Dear Glendora, yes, what they have done is horrible. However, God allowed it to happen for a reason. That's it, folks. Glendora says, what they did was abominable, and what strength you have and what wisdom you have. Says Ethan Book, yes, the mail box is private. Good, says Glendora. Yes, I would be interested in TV exposure in the right manner. Glendora says anything you say as to content, as to logistics, can we do it by phone with a photo for videotape, or just your name and graphics, or blank screen, or the flag? Says Ethan Book. For more pieces to the puzzle, observe the attached exchanges of Glendora says, okay, I will. And Glendora says she served these 10 pages upon the following people. Let me show them to you. The following people. The Center for Judicial Accountability, Orrin Hatch, Senate Judiciary Committee. The House Judiciary Committee. George Bush. Chase. And McDermott, a great American hero in Washington, D.C. Gabby Zabby. And now we'll let Chase out. Here, honey. Here you go, honey. You can say meow, you know. You don't have to tear the house down. And here comes Cross the Road Kitty. And Cross the Road Kitty and Chase always have a clash. Come on, Cross the Road Kitty. Come on. So now we are on page 2 out of 10. And Ethan Book says, how are you doing? And Glendora says, perfectly, happily. Best regards, Ethan. Ibid, says Glennie. He has very attractive handwriting. Okay. CRRA, I think, stands for Connecticut Redevelopment Something Authority, and it had to do with changing garbage to energy, and such a plant was to be constructed in Bridgeport, Connecticut. And he is writing to Dan and saying, following our encounter recently at the luncheon of the Bridgeport Regional Business Council, I thought that you might find interest. Now, Chase, that was not nice. Interest to the attachments. Additional supporting information is available. And regards Ethan Book, Jr., New England Limousine Service of Fairfield. John W. Fontara, State Senator, Connecticut, Chairman, Government Administration and Elections Committee, State of Connecticut, Legislative Office Building, Hartford, Connecticut. Dear Chairman Fontara, this is intended as public reaction to what was reported of comments made by Alan Plotsky, Executive Director of the Ethics Commission, and Attorney General Richard Blumenthal before the Government Administration and Elections Committee. This is all Connecticut. The sun is trying so hard to get through these clouds, and these clouds, you should go somewhere else. Somebody else needs you, clouds. We do not. We have had enough precipitation. We have 2 storms back to back. Storms 18 and 19 of this season. Mr. Plotsky was criticized by overstating his position with regard to the current moral and ethical crises in state government, and he and Attorney General Blumenthal urged for more legislation for reforms, higher penalties, greater statutes of limits, one and more protection for whistleblowers. Now this is what Ethan Book Jr. is. Mr. Plotsky did not overstate the nature of the present crisis. There seem to be few who have begun to recognize the real significance of what has surfaced publicly of the moral and ethical crises in state government. Well, Glendora agrees, and what they really need, these people, instead of legislation, is a surgeon. They need to come to God. They need it all over their bodies, and they need it all over their minds. And I say, God bless you, Ethan Book. And Glendora asked Ethan to come and see her, and she will take him to lunch, and maybe we can videotape it, and you can meet him. With regard to the need for more legislative reform, including greater protection for whistleblowers, I believe that a first order of attention would be to address the fact of adherence to existing laws and constitutions. Yes, Ethan, I have made formal complaints to the Ethics Commission for which there was what I observed to be selective and biased administration of the laws and willful disregard for my rights by the Commission and by Mr. Plotsky. I refer to my complaints against William Darcy, former president of the Connecticut Resources Recovery Authority. And he lists the dockets, number 9802 and number 9804 inter alia, and my complaint against Representative John Ritter, former House Speaker, docket number 9807. The record should be quite clear that there was active and observedly willful disregard by the Commission to key facts and issues of those matters. You understand what's going on here? There's corruption going on here. Bridgeport, Connecticut. Connecticut Resources and Redevelopment Agency. In addition, somewhat concurrently, I wrote a letter to Governor John Rowland asking him why there was not a requirement for the Chief State's Attorney to file a financial disclosure with the Commission. Governor Rowland responded with a letter saying that he was referring the request to Mr. Plotsky. After several months and multiple follow-ups, Mr. Plotsky replied by explaining that the decision of who is required to file financial disclosures lies with the governor. Ambage. A point of significance, now this is for you people in Fairfield County, you people in all the state of Connecticut. A chat with Glendora should be on Manchester, Connecticut. And Lori Badanani there is as corrupt as these people that we're talking about, and something's going to be done about her. We are working on it. And also it's seen in Litchfield, Connecticut. A chat with Glendora. A point of significance is that the Chief State's Attorney at that time was John Bailey, the son of the late Boss Bailey, who was a long-term head of the State Democrat Party, also the founder of the law firm of Bailey and Wexler. The law firm which represented Signal Environmental Systems Incorporated in the action of Connecticut Resources Redevelopment Authority et al. Versus Freedom of Information Commission et al. A case in which I actively sought access to the bid given to the Connecticut Resources Recovery Authority for the redevelopment of the Greater Bridgeport Resource Recovery Project. John Bailey began his law career with his father's law firm. John Bailey also administered the office of the Chief State's Attorney during a time that officials of the same agency were asking an unusually aggressive positions against me for matters which reflected no element of public interest. One of those positions was with regard to a first offense, nonviolent, Class C, petty misdemeanor, an action for which there is yet an unresolved legal issue of constitutional protection for commercial speech. Prior to the trial for that action, Public Defender Thomas West is reported to have told an acquaintance that the attorneys of Stanford Court and the Stanford judges intended to see me convicted, as I've been a thorn to the state in other forums. His comment apparently pertained to my long-term role in the state, that stemming from my banking background of being an advocate of better accountability for the Connecticut Resources Redevelopment Authority. See the attached text for an article of the Bridgeport Telegram. Well, he was kangarooed and railroaded. All of his rights were denied, all of his due process was denied, and he was put in jail for a year. I don't think there was any trial. And what was this misdemeanor? A woman that he used to go out with, and then they stopped going out together, owed money to his company, Connecticut Limousine of Fairfield, and she wouldn't pay it, and he asked her to pay it, and so they used this as an excuse to put him in jail. Is that reasonable? And that's you, Judge Tobin. Tobin, Judge Tobin. In any event, on January 8, 2004, I completed a full one-year sentence for a matter for which an initial appeal was improperly dismissed by the appellate court, and where Stanford Court prematurely revoked an appeal bond to impose an unusually harsh sentence without other respect of my rights of appeal. See the attached letter sent on January 12, 2004 to a customer for whom my business failed to provide scheduled transportation service on January 17, 2003. How could he do it? They locked him up. How could he provide limousine service for his customer when they locked him up? And I called his number maybe 20 times over the year 2003, and I could see what had happened. He had been locked up, and I didn't know why or for what. And his answering service would even go so far as to say, oh, he won't be back for a while. And that's when Franklin and I began to put two and two together and realize what a horrible thing was going on in the state of Connecticut, in the United States of America. What is reported of Attorney General Blumenthal's positions parallels what he was reported to have said in June of 2002 with regard to limited reform of state whistleblowers' laws, as was reported in the June 17, 2002 edition of the Connecticut Law Tribune concerning Public Act 02-91. Mr. Blumenthal said, whistleblowing can be hazardous to people's livelihoods and careers. That's the understatement of the year. Look what they did to poor Ethan Book Jr. Trumped up a phony charge, denied his due process, lied and cheated, and put him in jail for a year. Now you believe me, the people in jail, many, 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 many of them are innocent. It's the judges who should be in jail, and the lawyers, and the district attorneys, and the U.S. attorneys. That's who should be in jail for lying and cheating and misrepresenting and for manipulating and for violations of due process. What he really means, Mrs. Blumenthal, is that he has stated concerns for minor whistleblowers, but by his actions, he has demonstrated over a period of years that he does not have, this is page 5, concern for a major whistleblower like me, Ethan Book Jr. Okay, this is all happening in Fairfield County, Connecticut. I know 2 cases in Connecticut of horrible, horrible injustice. And it sours my attitude of Connecticut. Okay, we have to stop. We should have stopped at 11 o'clock. And we should say prayer. They really aren't prayers, folks, okay? In fact, this is going to be a so-called prayer. They are 30 seconds of exuberance. What a great universe that we have. How we're trying to preserve its goodness and its beauty and its fairness and its greatness. And at 11:15, the prayer that we say will be a hymn, if you want to stay tuned. Says Ethan Book Jr., in support of my position, I provide attached the text of a letter that I sent to Mr. Blumenthal. That would be the attorney for the state of Connecticut, I guess. Is he, or what is he? Anyway, something like that. From Carl Robinson on November 8, 2003, the implications for the credible facts that are described in that letter are quite serious. Not only am I a whistleblower, I also am properly considered as a witness, a victim, and informant of a racketeering enterprise conspiracy. That's exactly what it is, a RICO. Racketeer Influence Crime Organization. This whole thing about Governor Rowland and the state of Connecticut and Bridgeport and the garbage to energy plant. Millions of dollars. Mr. Blumenthal has been aware of me and my situation since early in assuming the present responsibilities. However, Mr. Blumenthal has clearly demonstrated an attitude and policy of using governmental office in order to squelch legitimate information and issues of public interest, that in deference to governmental organization and his career aspirations. I'm not reading you my comments, but they are all an encouragement of Mr. Ethan Book Jr. Thus, there appears to be a serious issue of political bias against me for the yet unresolved issues of defects of state activities and resource recovery. Considering the above, I can say that Mr. Plotsky's recent public comments were not too strong. Also, Mr. Plotsky shares responsibility for a culture mentally which has contributed to more recent crisis events. Concerning Mr. Blumenthal's, based on my own experience, his public positions are disingenuous. Mr. Blumenthal talks the talk, but he doesn't walk the walk. Several years ago, Representative Christopher Caruso assured me that the state investigation and resolve of the Connecticut Resources Recovery Authority, Enron, see, Enron was involved in all this, Enron, and it was Ethan Book Jr. in the bank as the vice president of the bank who found this out. Devico would be thorough and complete. Would you please show me that Representative Caruso was correct? Well, I'm listening to you, Ethan Book, and I hear you. He sent it to Richard Blumenthal, Attorney General, State Senator William Finch. This is all in Connecticut now. State Senator John McKinney, State Representative Moira Lyons, and State Representative Jacqueline Cocco, C-O-C-C-O. Now, I'm going to read you an article that was in the Bridgeport Telegram, renamed the Connecticut Post, City Line by Kenneth Dixon, April the 6th, 1987, Tilting at Power. A modern-day Don Quixote who is opposed to the construction of the huge regional garbage-to-energy plant in Bridgeport South End claims he was fired from his executive position with the Connecticut Bank and Trust Company because of pressure from Governor William A. O'Neill to assure the success of the project. I think that's all pretty understandable. We're up to page 6 out of 10. Continues the newspaper article. If what Ethan Book says is true, a political pall could be cast over last year's demise of a plan in Stratford for a smaller municipal garbage-to-energy plant. Book, who was handling preliminary funding proposals at the bank for the now-defunct Genetron plant, charges that pressures at the bank from the governor scuttled the plan. Book is tilting at a windmill that is becoming larger and larger over the south end as the plant skeleton nears completion. Connecticut Resources Recovery Authority officials scoff during the public statements to the State Department of Environmental Protection. In his mission, Book often drives to Hartford to badger state officials. He's a regular in area newspapers, newsrooms, constantly trying to persuade reporters and editors of the fallibility of the mass burning technology. His many opponents are quick to point out that his criticism of the Connecticut Resources Recovery Authority project is tainted because he is a consultant representing the processing of garbage, which is then separated from the metals before it's burned. That's ridiculous. The technology, which has made many advances since the city's garbage to powdered fuel plant failed, is called RDF, refuse derived fuel. It's a wonderful thing.